an Elements solo laner.
Thank you very much, QuickShot. I'm joined by, as you can hear, the top laner for Elements. It is, in fact, Steve, who had a pretty magnificent performance on that Poppy along with the rest of the team. But you snapped a 5-game losing streak. Congratulations. I mean, what does that do to your mental state after so many losses, picking one up?
Well, it feels really good because the morale was kind of down after all these losses. And yeah, it just feels really good.
It's definitely got to be a nice thing, man. And now you guys are sitting in 7th place. It seems like a very comfortable position for Elements. But generally speaking, there's still plenty of time left. Where do you expect this team to place towards the end of the split?
Well, if we want to go to playoffs, well, we want to try to go to playoffs. So we have to beat a few teams like the top 6, you know, like top 4. I think we can get a win here and there. We didn't get one yet against these top teams. We only beat teams that are below us, but that's our goal. And I think if we do that, we can manage to get playoffs.
I'm looking forward to the next matchups, and the crowd always loves you, man. So thanks you so much for taking the time with me. I'll ask you one last question. This is about your choice of Poppy. We've seen so many top lane Poppies lately. It used to be more of a support pick. Why do you think it was so strong? Because you were just able to completely knock people into the wall constantly in that game.
Well, it's a tank that can deal so much damage and make engages and stuff. I like TPing behind teams with it, and the ulti is really fun. I don't know. I just love the champion.
The ulti is very fun. And there you go, man. Thanks again for taking the time to join us. Congrats on your win, and we will send it back the analyst desk way to break down that victory by Elements.
Thank you so much, Pyra. Well, sitting in on the desk rather here to talk about that Elements win is H2K's Jankos. Thank you very much for joining us. I know it must have been rough after that loss earlier. What are your thoughts about it?
Oh, well, I think Malphite pick kind of screwed us a bit, you know, because we picked 3 AD carries into Malphite, which is not good. Even though we had pretty well early game with Selfie, like stepping out super hard and dominating mid lane versus Perks, we were like 2-3k ahead, and then we went Nashor at some point, even though we didn't have to. Well, we went, and then I forgot I don't have smite. Like, I didn't look, you know, I kind of focused on Nashor instead of looking at the smite, and yeah, that was the changing point of the game, I believe. So I would say I'm the reason why we lost, even though it's not exactly true because everyone could play better. Still, I would like to play myself after, yeah, about this game.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a nice way to put it, that nobody else has to feel blamed for it, but you guys are still doing very well. Let's take a look at this game, though. You wanted to specifically talk about the picks and bans here in this Elements draft?
I mean, for me, it's kind of weird that Elements picked Elise so slowly, and then I guess it's because the ROCCAT picked, like, okay, so basically we have first pick, Lucian. Right now he's super strong. I guess he's dominating every lane, so that's why they decided to pick it. Then we see Corki. It's kind of must-have pick, just because if you give out Lucian, you cannot give out Corki, otherwise the game is over in picks and bans. Then I would personally prefer to see Corki mid in this team comp, because I don't think Corki and Lulu fits too well. Basically, like, Corki is a champion that can always do well alone, and then he always pressures mid lane. There is no pick that can deal with him. So I'm not sure why I decided to pick Lulu. It was kind of weird. I think if even they wanted to put Corki bot lane, they should have picked Victor faster instead of this Lulu pick. But they probably picked Lulu to not give Elements Lulu. So yeah. And then Elements had like super dominating lanes. Only Freddy had the counter pick. They always try to give the counter pick to Freddy because he's trying to pressure top a lot. But I don't think it worked out in this game. And also they lost lane swap, so there was nothing they could do at some point.
Not a lot they could do, and you were talking before about how in your game, when the Baron got stolen away, that it was, of course, a huge change in momentum maybe as well. Here specifically, you wanted to take a look at one of Steve's moves. We didn't do this on purpose because he did actually play this out really well. Let's take a look at this team fight. No, this outplay bottom, rather. We can run the clip out.
I mean, this is huge, right? Because Freddy right now is pressuring Steve super hard because he's 2 levels ahead. So Airwax has, like, he doesn't need to be there. Like, for some reason, they try to dive him, and then, yeah, Steve, like, beautifully outplays Airwax. And from that very moment, like, the game can snowball, because right now, Elements are, like, 5v4 on the map. They can regain pressure, they can put up deep wards, and they can, like, overall pressure the map, like, super hard. And also, from this moment, Poppy will probably deal with Freddy, you know? Like, Freddy was 2 levels ahead, and after this, well, he's not ahead anymore, you know, like Poppy will get all the wave, he got a kill, and yeah, there was nothing Freddy could do from that moment, and it's just so much snowball.
Yeah, not really the best idea to stand next to the wall against the Poppy there by the Kindred, but was a really good play, especially like they're going in together and then like, oh, where did Trundle fly off to? And then you just like need to get the one lasted in, and then you get stunned to the wall, and after that it's just like very tilty.
Yeah, and here we're going to take a look at a team fight that followed. Rock actually tries to do something, and Elements plays it beautifully in this one. They were, of course, very far ahead, but I did feel like I was watching Elements almost, because it just kept going forward.
I mean, they missed a lot of skill shot right here,
yeah.
but the fact that they played the comp so well is really beautiful, because like they try to peel for their carries, they stay with Rales, really group, they stay with AK, and the backline just destroyed ROCCAT. Also, the late TP from Freddy was kind of big, but the thing is right here that at some point ROCCAT actually disengaged the team fight, and if the TP wouldn't be here, then maybe Freddy would be able to push side lane, right? But instead, they decide to TP, they decide to fight, they have weaker 5v5. Also, yeah, Steve is just too strong at this moment, and they lost, and they lose Nash, and they lose the game, you know. So next time, you know, make sure to kind of pressure the silence when you have like the peak to do it, instead of trying to force team fights. And that's also what we did against Fnatic in the like first game. We had Fiora, and we tried to team fight with her instead of pressuring the silence, which is kind of meh, but I think people will like pick up on that and maybe play a little bit more careful. Also, they had like, with Corki, you don't really need 4 people mid, like you can wave clear around, so a lot of mistakes in this game.
However, if you look at teams like ROCCAT, who's at the bottom of the table, we've said time and time again that they don't seem to be good at the team fights. Would you prioritize having that map pressure and learning how to control the sideways, or would you go back to the basics? Or is that a basic?
I mean, it just seems like overall ROCCAT seems a bit lost. I don't think there's actually anything they are doing particularly well. It just
early game, Airwax.
Yeah, Airwax is like the shining light in the team sometimes, and also Betsy is doing some great stuff sometimes. And this game, he kind of gets stuck on the Lulu, and as you said, it doesn't really work that well with the Corki. And then there's just like no one really doing anything on the team, and it just all falls apart.
Yeah.
I mean, what they really need in the team is brain, kind of, because I feel like Betsy and Airwax are carrying them through every early game. Like every early game, they have pressure mid, they have pressure jungler, they're playing it super well. Even against Fnatic, like Febiven and Spirit got outplayed by them, you know. So as long as they have that, it's fine. But then they need a brain who would go from like mid game to late game to actually like make decision and do stuff. But instead, they don't know what to do. Like Freddy always wants to split push, no matter what he wants to split push, he is always on the split pushing champ. And often they choose to fight instead of split pushing. And at the same time, yeah, after early game, like we see beautiful early game, like they are super ahead, like in every single game almost, you know, like lately they played yesterday, today, and still they managed to somehow throw it. So I'm not sure I'm wrong there, but I think the coach of the team, which is, I believe, I'm so fresh, yeah, he probably should talk to maybe Extinct or maybe Airwax to control mid-game more as well, because what I feel like from mid-game, they just try to still do the ganks and still pressure the map by ganking instead of pressuring the map by like running out of the map, setting deep parts, doing the silent pressure that they should and stuff like this, you know.
We'll see what happens if they can alter that behavior past that, but Elements runs away with the victory here. We've got one match left on the card this week, and it's about between Splice and Giants, who need to keep winning to keep any postseason hopes alive. Stay with us. There's more European LCS coming your way right after this.
Try to shot call in the mid game, okay? Just give your ideas, and then it's easier to shot call, okay?
Yes.
And like, just communicate about everything, okay? If you have something in your mind, don't expect people to like do it automatically. Just say it, okay?
Okay.
Pins Airwax against the wall, might find himself one kill back. Airwax was unable to get the respite, and Steve survives.
No. TP. Kill the TP. No, Kindred don't, no Kindred don't. Alright, good up.
No, I got it. Is that? Need to use it shortly. Airwax goes forward, puts down Lamb's respite, is stunned against the wall, flashes only to die. 3 members of ROCCAT are running, and a long-range dash. Steve jumps onto the back line. Tabs was killed over by Ica in the mid. And Steve with a gigantic smile on his face. Element take down ROCCAT.